Welcome back to Final Fantasy III. In the previous episode, I ventured to the Cave of Shadows to recover the Fang of Earth, the last of 4 elemental fangs. Then faced Leviathan and Bahamut's tests of strength, gaining their power. Finally, I went to Doga's Manor, being transported to Doga's Grotto, facing both Doga and Une so they could give me the Eureka key and Syrcus key. With both keys and fangs in hand, I'll head towards Syrcus Tower to face Xande and stop the Flood of Darkness from invading this world. So let's get to it. I fly to the northwest of the Cave of Shadows, finding statues that block the path of my airship. As I cross the statues, the fangs destroy them. With the way cleared, I fly over the mountains, finding the Syrcus Tower. Enemies found around the world here include Death Needles. Their attacks inflict poison, Ligers, a strong enemy, and Minotaurs, slightly stronger attackers. Before I can enter the tower, I must go through the Ancient's Maze. Enemies found here include Iron Claws, a strong attacker, Greater Demons, these ones can summon Une's clones. They have the same skill set as the original, but aren't as strong or bulky. There's also the Thanatos, who can cast Breakgun, Bone Dragons, very strong undeads, and King Behemoths, pretty strong enemies. I enter the first room I encounter, finding the Earth Crystal. I must first face the Titan though. Not only is he strong, he can also cast Flare. Once I defeat him, I can finally convene with the Earth Crystal, now free from Xande's grasp, granting me its power. With the new power of the Earth Crystal, I gain access to 3 new jobs. First of which is the Magus, an improved version of the Black Mage, gaining access to level 8 Black Magic, better stats, and some extra equipment options. They do become obsolete very fast though. The Vouts are improved White Mages, gaining access to level 8 White Magic, as well as better stats and some equipment. This is another job that will quickly become obsolete. Summoners are improved Evokers, having access to improved abilities that inflict massive damage, though they do lose the Evoker's utility abilities, even if those abilities are reliant on a coin flip. They do have reduced MP reserves compared to the other jobs though. With these new jobs, I change Alvin to Devout, Alan to Summoner, and Alice to Magus. I then make a trip to Duster, buying a 3rd feathered cap for Alice, having given my 2nd to Alvin already. I return to the Ancient's Maze, venturing deeper into it, going north then east, finding a chest holding an elixir. I then go west, entering a new room, going north to open a chest that contains a crystal shield. It immunizes against Mini, Toad, Petrification, Confusion, and Sleep. These properties are common among crystal equipment, but the shield itself also grants +5 strength, agility, and vitality. The next chest over has a Lilith's Kiss. I then go west and north, opening a chest that contains crystal melt that I give to Alex. I then go further west and south, opening a chest that has Black Musk. I then go west and north, opening a chest with crystal gloves that I give to Alex. Then I go a bit south and east, entering the next room, and going east and south. The 3 corridors here lead to chests. West has a crystal helm that I give to Alex, east has a great axe, while south has a phoenix down, a break blade that I give to Alex, this weapon is earth elemental and can inflict petrification, and an Omni Rod, another petrifying weapon. This one possesses the 6 elements of fire, ice, lightning, air, earth, and holy. I give this to Alice. I then go back north and east, entering the eastmost room. Here I go south, then around the wall to open a chest that contains a phoenix down. Then I go northeast, opening a chest that contains a protect ring that I give to Alan. I then go south and west, entering a new room that has chests that contain hellish claws that are dark elemental and can poison, as well as a holy lance that is air and holy elemental. It is north of here that I find the exit to Syrcus Tower. I enter the tower, also known as the Crystal Tower, entering the nearby door. Using the Eureka key here takes me to the Forbidden Land of Eureka. New enemies here include Abayas, the weakest enemy here, still pretty strong, Sleipnirs, casters of many status spells, Haokas, they launch lightning, Acherons, pretty strong attackers, Oceanus, they're similar to Acherons, and Ninjas. They're strong enemies backed by multiple elemental resistances. They can also cast Blind. I go west, opening chests that have a bomb arm, and they have an Elite Wrath. I then go east to open chests that contain an Arctic Wind and an Elixir. Then I go south to climb down to the 2nd floor. Here, I go west, entering a room that has a bomb arm. I then go through a tunnel to open a chest that has a ribbon. This headpiece resists the elements of fire, ice, air, earth, and recovery, while also granting immunity to all status effects. Before I can give this one to Alvin, I must first face a ninja. I then go south, climbing down to the 3rd floor, opening a chest here that holds a shuriken. I then return to the 2nd floor, going east to a room that contains a Heavenly Wrath, a Phoenix Down, and an Arctic Wind. I then go south, back to the 3rd floor, going south to open a chest that has an Elixir. I then go further south and west, finding chests along the path that hold a shuriken and a Phoenix Down. I then go south to the 4th floor. As I walk along this path, I find a circular weapon on the floor. It is guarded by Amon. He looks quite similar to Hein, having the same barrier shift ability that changes his weakness, absorbing all other elements. though Amon also spews flames. Alice casts Bio, Alvin buffs Alex with haste, while Alan summons Leviathan, as summons ignore elemental absorption. Once I defeat him, I get the Moon Ring Blade that I give to Alex. This incredibly strong weapon can also be used to full effectiveness from the back row. I continue going south, climbing down to the 5th floor. I go south and east, finding a Dark Blade on the floor, guarded by the Kunoichi. This strong attacker can use the Mind Blast ability to inflict paralysis on party members. I buff Alex with haste, who becomes my sole damage dealer as Alan and Alice are stuck with paralysis. Once I defeat her, I get the Masamune, the strongest Dark Blade. It also grants +5 agility and vitality. I then go west, opening a chest that contains a Phoenix Down. Then I go south, opening a chest that has another Phoenix Down. Then I climb down to the 6th floor. I go through the eastern path, finding a sword at the end. It is guarded by a general, a very strong attacker with no tricks. I follow up with much of the same strategy as before, gaining the Excalibur at the end, a very strong sword that also grants +5 strength. I give it to Alex. I then take the western path through invisible bridges, entering the 7th floor. I go north, entering the room, finding springs here, as well as a sage that sells level 8 magic. Flare is strong single target non-elemental damage, Death is a one-shot spell, Meteor is multi-target non-elemental damage, Tornado is an air elemental spell that reduces HP to critically low levels, Arise is a fully healing revive, and Holy is a single target holy elemental spell. The other sage here sells high level summon spells, though only if I have defeated the appropriate bosses. The nearby chests contain 2 elixirs and 2 shurikens. There's also a hidden path that takes me to a sage that sells shurikens and crystal equipment. I buy a flare for Alice and a rise for Alvin, then exit the room, going west to a staff facing Scylla. He's got a predilection to cast a flare spell. Once I defeat him, I get the Elder Staff. It can cast Cure, grants +5 intelligence and mind, and was meant to boost fire, ice, and lightning damage. I also get 2 new jobs. The Sage is the ultimate magical class, getting both white and black magic as well as summons, using the same abilities as Summoner, all while having massive MP pools. The Ninja is the ultimate physical class, getting access to almost all weapons and armor, having exclusive access to the Shuriken. I change Alex and Alan to ninjas, and Alvin and Alice to sages, shuffling some equipment and spells around, buying a rise for Alice, and some shurikens as well, finally going east outside the room, next to a sword, facing the Guardian. He likes casting Quake, Reflect, and Kurag. I defeat him easily with my newfound power, gaining the Ragnarok sword, the strongest sword. It is also Dark Elemental and grants +5 strength, agility, and vitality. I give it to Alan, who has also had the Masamune equipped. I thus make my way out, returning to the Crystal Tower. This tower features many new enemies that include Gomoris, they can cast a drain spell, Bloods, these ones can summon Dogus clones, they have the same skill set as the original, but have lower power and bulk. There's also Azers, they can launch flames, Platinals, they can cast Breaka, Kumkums, they have a variety of spells to cast, Dark Generals, they don't have any tricks, Glacial Labalasses, very strong attackers, Force, they send lightning, Green Dragons, one of 3 dragon varieties that can drop 1 in equipment, Yellow Dragons, another dragon variety, and Red Dragons. These ones have many elemental resistances. I go east, opening chests that contain a Shining Curtain, White Musk, a Chocobo's Wrath, and an Earthen Drum. I then go west, opening chests that contain another Shining Curtain and White Musk. I then go north, opening chests that contain a Chocobo's Wrath and a Lilith's Kiss. The door here must be unlocked by the Syrcus key. It gives access to the 2nd floor. I go south then west, opening a chest that contains an elixir, then go south and all the way east, opening a chest that contains a Phoenix Down, then I go south and west, opening a chest that contains an elixir. I then climb up to the 3rd floor. I go east, south and west, opening a chest that has an elixir. I then climb up to the 4th floor, going around the eastern wall, then through the south, opening chests that contain a Phoenix Down and an Elder Staff that I give to Alice. I then go west, going around the wall to climb back down to the 3rd floor. The nearby chest has a Phoenix Down. I then go west, north and east, opening chests that contain 2 elixirs. I then climb up to the 4th floor, going south to climb up to the 5th floor. I go along the narrow paths clockwise along the room, climbing up to the 6th floor. I go east, opening a chest that has a crystal mallet that I give to Alan. I then go west, opening a chest that has a Phoenix Down. I then go south and east, climbing up to the 7th floor. The western chests here have crystal gloves that I give to Alan, and a crystal shield, while the eastern chests have a Phoenix Down and a crystal helm that I give to Alan. I then enter the northern room, finding a mirror that curses my party with petrification. The 5 worms here threaten to eat them. Dogga's soul, however, searches for 5 pure souls to cleanse his petrification. He meets with Princess Sarah, Sid, Dash, who's somehow alive, King Alice, and one of the old men of Amur. The power of Sarah, Sid, Dash, Alice, An old man restores the warriors. I advance north, going face to face with Xande. He can spew flames and cast Quake and Meteor. I go for a full-on assault, attacking with Alex and Alan, supplementing their attacks with Bahamut summons. I defeat Xande, but it's too late. The Cloud of Darkness can't be stopped, firing its particle beams, defeating my party. When all seems lost though, Doga and Une revive the Warriors of Light by giving up their souls. I must now go to the World of Darkness to bring balance to light and dark. I have arrived at the World of Darkness. New enemies found here include Kages, strong attackers with multiple elemental resistances, Shadow Masters, these ones can cast Protect, Yormugans, they can also cast Protect but have no resistances, Queen Silas, a stronger attacker, Garms, they can cast Drain and confuse with their attacks, and Twin Dragons, a very strong attacker. I take the northwestern stairs, going east through a tunnel, finding a chest that contains a ribbon. Before I can give it to Alice, I must face a Xande's clone. He's got the same skill set, but much less HP. I then take the south tunnel, going north and west, finding stairs to the Dark Wind Crystal. It is being guarded by Cerberus, a boss that casts lightning over and over again. Alan attacks with shurikens from the back row, while Alvin buffs Alex with haste, and Alice summons Bahamut. Once Cerberus is defeated, I free one of the Warriors of Darkness. I return to the center, then climb the stairs to the northeast room. I go north and east, finding another ribbon guarded by a Xande's clone. I give this one to Alex. I then go clockwise through the corridor, climbing to the Dark Fire Crystal. It is being guarded by the Twin-Headed Dragon, an immensely strong attacker, capable of wiping a character with a single attack. I use the same strategy as before, though the dragon's insistence in attacking Alan results in him getting knocked out. After the dragon is gone, I free another Warrior of Darkness. I return to the center, then climb to the southwest room. I go all the way west and south, finding a ribbon guarded by a Xande's clone. I give this one to Alan. I return north, then go through the central tunnel to stairs that take me to the Dark Water Crystal. It is guarded by Echidna. She can cast many spells, including the ever-threatening Meteor. I continue using the same strategy as before. Once she is defeated, I rescue another Warrior of Darkness. I return to the center, then climb to the southeast room. I go around the eastern wall, going east to open a chest that has a ribbon guarded by a Xande's clone. I then go around the southern wall, going east to stairs to the Dark Earth Crystal. It is guarded by Ahriman. He has 3 elemental abilities, but worst of all, Meteor. Sequential castings of this spell will wipe the party pretty much every time. Following with the same strategy as before did work, though since Ahriman opened with Meteor, taking this aggressive stance could have had terrible consequences. With Ahriman defeated, I rescue the last Warrior of Darkness. I return to the center, then go north, through invisible paths. I climb up the stairs, finding the Cloud of Darkness. As they threaten to destroy both worlds, the Warriors of Darkness show up to help, weakening the Cloud. The Cloud of Darkness can only do one thing, Particle Beam, an ability that inflicts party-wide non-elemental damage. This time, I double up on shurikens. Both Alex and Alan attack with them, doubling up, casting Bahamut at the start as well. I am put in a bit of a precarious position, though I take back momentum with elixirs and Arise castings. At the end of this battle, I finally take down the Cloud, being congratulated by Sarah, Sid, Dash, Alice, and Old Man, taking them back to their homes. The Old Man rejoin, Alice sits back on the throne, Sid reunites with his wife, while Dash reunites with Selena. Sarah though insists in joining with us in Ur. The light of the crystals shines once again. This is the end of Final Fantasy III. This entry continues Final Fantasy's commitment to customization. While the first entry promoted replayability through different party choices, and the second entry promoted character building, this entry introduced the job system, an ever-expanding Swiss Army knife-like tool that can be used to deal with any situation. The static stats system ensures that any character can be any job without any penalties. The pacing of this game is also blinding fast. There's very little downtime between areas. The combat has also been improved, as dual wielding has been fixed, with stat stacking being fixed as well, though a spell boosting mechanic seems to have failed to be implemented. Enemy quality is not very interesting though. Each area has around 3 to 5 enemies, and most of them are incredibly similar to each other, with very little distinction. The inventory has been much improved. Item stacking is back, and this time also applies to equipment and magic, which can be given to, taken from, and swapped between characters. The end game can be rather unforgiving though. Starting with Xande, the game sends the player into a marathon with no saving available. While most of the World of Darkness was easy enough, Ahriman, and later the Cloud of Darkness, can act as bouncers that will kick the player back to the title screen. That nightmare of an endgame aside, this game has been a surprisingly smooth experience. The vast majority of jobs felt useful, and the mechanics gel well together. Although I'm not sure if I agree with certain jobs being mandatory for certain points of the game, like a Scholar vs Hein, or Dragoons vs Garuda for example. It kinda goes against the customization angle, since it forces specific solutions for specific points. All in all, Final Fantasy ended its tenure on the Famicom with a solid game. Thank you for watching. These retro adventures have been fun, but I think I want to try something different for next time. So, see you there!